To me, isn't that, Greg, what I would say is soul work, is that you're moved, you're touched, right?
The way, yeah, yes, I mean, I think it can be described that way. I think of it as just the more anonymous shared level of existence that we're not so separate and so different from one another. It's anything that a human being can experience somehow, even though it can be so drastically different from my life experience. Often there's something in there that I recognize as human and it touches me.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not share it, but it probably touches something in my own story as well that I could potentially share.
Yeah, I love what you said about this anonymous life, or whatever we want to call it, energy, beingness that flows through all of us. Is that what you meant? Something like,
Yes,
yeah.
that is what I meant. And whenever I refer to it, I try to use, like Jean used to say as well, I try to use a handful of words so that the description doesn't get in the way of what it is I'm trying to point to. Because it kind of enters into a territory where there's a lot of loaded words already there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The word anonymous, I knew what you were pointing at, but for me, it's the most personal. It's both anonymous and the most personal. So I would almost want to pair those.
How would you say that, Lynn?
That place where nothing human is alien to me, where we are interaction, is a place that's more than my personal story and your personal story and Glenn's personal story, but it also is the most deeply personal place. The least anonymous and the most anonymous at the same time, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's certainly my experience when I, especially in whole body focusing, if I'm practicing that, and I feel sometimes almost like it feels like life wants its vehicle back, and it kind of shoves me out of the way slightly in order to re-embody me in kind of correct the mistakes, all that the hash I've made of my life in some way. The thing is, this is closer to what you're saying, Lynn. It feels like a slightly impersonal force that is at the same time knows me more intimately than I even know myself. It's somehow it's so deeply me, and yet not the me I normally think of as me. It's a different depth of me somehow.
That, yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Greg. Yeah, I would resonate with that also. I mean, when I use, for example, the term spirit, that's kind of what I'm referring to, really. That there's another term that's called autogenous, which means self-generated, basically. So it's an energy that just sort of comes of itself. Like you said, I love, sort of gets you out of the usual me out of the way, and that's why, the whole body and even play work, drama, they're all about that very thing, Greg. So I think you hit it, the crux of it. There's some energy, force, whatever we name it, right, that sort of has a life or a knowing of its own. And that the more we can engage that, allow it, invite it, embody it.
Right.
It's more,
me that's more than me that comes through me. That place where we are our local selves, and we are this, interaction that includes so much more. Letting that so much more come through. Yeah. I love this little